Welcome to the Manuchehri podcast. Over the last 30 years, it has been my joy to assist humanity in aligning with their magnificence so they may heal, discover their natural gifts, and communicate with loved ones living on the other side. May you also experience delight while we dance in the powerful, intuitive world of energy. Let's get going. Welcome to where energy meets the divine. Today, let's talk a little bit about inspiration before I start answering phone calls. So inspiration is something that I think everybody actually gets often, but a lot of people don't trust their intuition, those inspiring moments. And because they don't trust it, they don't follow through. And they then don't continue the inspiration that's been provided to them by the universe. So everyone, when anyone is created, when a soul is created, you are created through inspiration, through something the universe went, oh, this is so cool. This is interesting. Oh, let's birth some life into this. And then a soul is born. So you already have natural gifts and talents. You have many wonderful qualities about you that are here present on earth. And because you have a connection to your higher self, you can download all kinds of wonderful and amazing things about yourself. And the universe is doing everything it can to meet your spirit guides, other beings of light, archangels, sometimes family members who've crossed over, but not always. You may have recalled through a previous podcast that if you have loved ones on the other side that are maybe not in the same vibrational pattern as you, or if you were to cross over, they're not in the same vibrational pattern that you would be in when you cross, they can't always be of help. So they don't always come to help. But people who can help, or beings who can help, are always available, always there for you. And that's why you get these moments of inspiration. You get this ding. And yet a lot of human beings don't follow through. They don't do it. Yesterday I was walking Charles and I got this moment of inspiration to do another deck of cards, my what if cards, and one specifically for health, which I haven't done yet. And I completely forgot about it until just a few moments ago when the universe was downloading information that would be helpful for the opening of our podcast today. So when you have these moments of inspiration, and I know you have had many, please write them down. Just jot them down somewhere in some beautiful journal that you have, or if you are a person who has a list, put this on your list, whatever you're feeling inspired about. Because if you can recall it and put some attention towards it and start making some moves in that direction, you're only going to grow and grow your energy system, your connection to the divine, because you're telling the universe, when you pay attention to these moments of inspiration, you're telling the universe, you're interested, you're ready, let's get going. But when you choose to doubt yourself, or not listen to yourself, or to just push aside these moments of inspiration, you are sending a message to the universe as well. But this time the message is saying, never mind, I'm not interested in that. Please don't bother me again. I know you're not actually saying that, but that's what your energy is saying. Like, I couldn't be bothered. Please don't bother me. And the universe will bother you still for a little while, but after so many months, it's just going to go, oh, well, what else can we do to support this human being? So if you write them down, you're going to remember it quickly. You're going to pay attention to it. And then if you could start to put some energy towards it. So what would that look like, putting energy towards it? That means you can make a what if question for it. What if I am incredibly creative and I'm beginning to notice that within myself? Anything else you have an aspiration for? Aspirations and desires are keys to unlocking awarenesses about yourself. A lot of people have no idea of who they truly are. Even people who've been incredibly successful, they could have been successful at something that didn't even matter to them, or it wasn't fun for them, or they didn't like what they were doing, which is very sad, by the way. I think that's incredibly sad. So if we could start doing what if questions. What if we just daydreamed about it? Like, oh, what if I am an artist? And you just imagine yourself painting or sculpting, doing pottery, or that you're just in a sacred space, some sort of art studio with crayons and pencils and watercolors. Like, just let yourself play with the energy. That's what the universe wants to do all the time with you. It just wants to play. It only wants to play. The seriousness that human beings bring into their life. And yes, of course, I do it as well. But I just know maybe sooner than the average person to not put my energy there, that it's a waste of my time, that I need to recalibrate. So many humans focus on things that are just completely unnecessary, and they miss vital, important things for their lives, things that could lead to better health, happiness, healthier relationships, work that's truly fulfilling and financially rewarding, because anything that you're having fun at will bring you a lot of positive energy, and wealth is a positive vibration. It's a positive energy. Ignoring your mind and any doubts you have would be critical, because the universe would never say anything negative to you. It might say, why don't we go do this today versus that? Like if you think that you're supposed to be a financial advisor, but yet you don't really like school, you don't like accounting, you don't like numbers, you don't like graphs, the universe isn't going to say to you, you would be a terrible financial advisor. Don't spend a minute doing it. It just doesn't communicate that way. It would say, oh, okay, well, that's kind of interesting. How about we go take an energy medicine class? Or how about we go learn about spirit guides? Things that actually interest you is also where you're going to have natural gifts and talents. So if you're interested in being a financial advisor, then by all means, take those courses. If that's something that lights you up and gets you excited, that's where your energy is meant to be. So the doubting, that's the part that all of humanity has to consciously recognize is not communication from their higher self, from the universe, from a spirit guide, from a departed loved one, that it is only coming from one place. It's only coming from fear, which is your ego, which is part of the brain. And the reason why the brain ego aspect shines so brightly in human reality, but less so than it has in centuries, is because humans still overthink and analyze just about everything. Kind of reminds me of one of my grandchildren, the only boy right now. He will just go into a room and take all of the toys out at the same time. Even if he's not going to play with all of them, he's just going to dump the Legos and the cars and, just maybe because he just loves the pile. But what happens is when you're in your brain and you're just dumping information into your brain, when the brain was only created for logic, and most of the things that people put in their brain have nothing to do with logic. Just like, my grandson put all the toys out, but he's going to just play with the Transformers. He's not going to play with the Legos or the art supplies or the books. But he just likes the pile. But I'm just using that as a metaphor for you so that you can recognize that most of the things you're putting in your brain cannot analyze or process about. Certainly anything to do with emotions, it cannot. It's just going to throw more negative energy and lower your frequency and your vibration and make things complicated and uncomfortable. The brain is just for logic. Hanging pictures on the wall, that's logical. Driving a car, that's a logical experience for the most part, unless you're a race car driver or you happen to be stuck in traffic where you need your intuition, so you can avoid, little bumper kind of accidents from all the traffic. So pulling yourself out of negativity, which is the ego, anything fear related, which doubts, that's fear. Anxiety, fear. Worry, fear. All of that is fear. None of it is real. The acronym for it is false evidence appearing real. It appears real, but it's not. So please don't put your energy there, because you're wasting, although we can't really waste anything, but you could be moving in a direction that's extremely fulfilling for you. If you were to stop overthinking, analyzing, and processing, it would have a great effect in your life so that you can put the energy towards the things you truly desire, start to hear loved ones, which includes the universe, continuing to inspire you, continuing to help you go down that road, continuing to let things be effective for you. That would be truly important and critical for you to have the things that you know you want in your life. Like you can feel it. You've had some hints, but then you doubt it. And then you listen to the fear. Please don't listen to the fear. Please. It's a waste of time. Fear is what creates war and famine and other problems that we have in the world. That's all fear-based. Has nothing to do with positive high vibrational frequency whatsoever. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and go to our phones now and listen to callers and see what they have to say.
Hi, Marie. This is Ro from California. Just started listening to you and really loving your podcast and your work. I have a question. It's a kind of a two-part question. So my husband and I have been together for 26 years. We're high school sweethearts. And from about the age of 19, he has always told me that he's not going to be here long. He's going to die young, or pretty much he's always kind of hinted to me that it would be before 50. And he doesn't bring it up too often because he knows that it makes me upset. But yeah, he every few years he'll kind of give me like a reminder, or he'll joke about it, like, well, when I'm gone, you need to learn how to do this, things like that.
Yeah.
And now that we're in our early 40s, it just kind of weighs on me a lot. And every time he, walks out the door, in my mind, it's, is this the last time I'm going to see him? Type of question that I'm always having in the back of my mind. So I just kind of want to know, is there any truth to what he has always told me, or why does he think that if
Why?
it's not true?
Mm-hmm.
So there's that, and it's still dealing with our relationship. We've kind of gone through some ups and downs. We grew up together pretty much, so we've grown. We love each other very much, but we've had some difficulties along the way. Just kind of want to get a general reading of our relationship together as a married couple. I feel like he's my till death do us part. But just kind of want to get a general feel for how you see our relationship. We're working through some things right now. Thank you so much for everything that you do. I love your work, and hope to hear soon. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
You're welcome. Thank you, Ro. So, I mean, it is possible. I have, met many people whose loved ones shared with them, who have crossed over, that they were going to die, but they shared it once. Like once, and they remembered. It was such an interesting conversation that kind of came out of the blue when a person was young, kind of like when your husband told you when he was 19, but they don't keep bringing it up, so that's the part that I think is interesting about him. He is in charge of when he leaves his body. I mean, his soul, so the bigger portion of him that lives outside of Earth, is in charge. I almost feel like him reminding you of this is kind of abusive. I know that's a big word that people don't like, but it's kind of abusive, honestly. I mean, you're a smart, intelligent woman. You know what he said. You've talked about it. He doesn't need to bring it up. And you can figure stuff out. If he were to die in his 50s, you could figure it all out. You've got it going on. This is not a problem. We're not talking about someone who's never held a job or didn't go to school or, so it's weird that he keeps bringing it up every couple of years. It's bizarre. Have you ever asked him? I'm assuming you have, but what made him think this? The moments that I have felt when people who are still in a body shared with me what their loved ones said to them about their early demise, that they're not going to live that long. It was so sacred. It was like a sacred message, just kind of out of respect and love and just this knowingness coming across that's shared in sacredness, where I don't feel that regarding your husband. I just don't feel like it's sacred. I feel like it's mean. So you get to do whatever you want. But if it were me, I would say, don't ever tell me that again. I already know what you've said. We'll see what happens, but don't tell me. You don't really know. It didn't feel very sacred, unless it did to you. But yeah. So I do think you guys haven't been on the same page for a long time. I know he's your forever, love do us part, unless you're, counting on, oh, well, he's not going to be here very long anyway. Then you need to reevaluate that, because I'm not seeing, I don't feel that. I'm missing that sacredness. Coming to Earth and leaving Earth are very powerful moments in a soul's development. The soul's going to have a huge awareness, a shift in consciousness when they come to Earth, either while they're in a body or shortly after they cross over. The experience of being in physical form is very profound. That's why Earth is kind of considered the PhD program for growth and consciousness, where you can learn a lot in most likely less than 80 years, right? It could be more than 80 years, but some people don't even live that long. So yeah, I feel like you two have grown apart, and I think you want him to be where you are in the growth of consciousness, but it's really okay to be married to someone or someone in your life who's not at the same place of consciousness, as long as they're, kind, loving people to you, which I think you have interpreted your spouse to be this type of person. But try not to get him to grow so much. It's almost like you're pressuring him to be different than he is. Just focus on yourself. Focus on your needs, what makes you happy. I think that's been the theme of this podcast, now the third podcast in a row, where we're really talking about detachment and being present with yourself and being focused on your needs and what's going to make you happy. Old souls already know how to help other people. That's not their issue. They need to learn to be devoted to themselves. Okay, I hope that question was helpful. Thank you.
Hi, Marie. My name is Jenny, and I live in Iowa. Just wanting to get some clarification on my healing business that I created. I'm not doing much with it. I am a full-time registered nurse, and looking to just really be independent and really doing what I want and following my passion. But just really feeling like I'm unsure which way to go with it. Just because I do enjoy so many different healing modalities, and I get excited about it, and I love health coaching, but I know that there's more to it than that. So if you're feeling or getting any messages on more of a focused direction for me, I would really be grateful for that. And if you are getting any messages from my loved ones, that would be a bonus. Thank you so much. I just love what you do. Thank you.
Thank you, Jenny. And thank you for all that you do in the world. You need to practice. My assistant, who took a Reiki workshop from me in the spring of this year, I think it was spring. I'm pretty sure it was spring. So May, has already done like over 50 sessions. And that's what makes people really good at their craft. You have to practice. But I also appreciate your question about, where. So you may not have found that, oh, that's so inspiring. Like you said, you liked health coaching, but what do you love about all of these modalities? That's what I would start with. And I would start practicing, even if you're not sure. When I started doing energy work, I really wanted to nail it down, who I was, what I did. And of course, every marketing guru out there tells people to do things like that, which no, I've never followed a marketing guru ever. I only follow my intuition. And yet, I do energy work. I'm a medium. I'm definitely a psychic. So find something that just inspires you and brings great passion to you, and then start practicing that. Even if it's a part of something that you are very curious about, but you got to get out of your head, rest in the lower half of your body, and you will need to practice. A lot of people learn, especially in the multisensory world, through action. It's like their human body energy system aligns to the multisensory world, and then they start to develop and grow their abilities or allow the natural abilities within them to come forward because they move into action. Earth is an action item planet. I mean, we have to do hundreds of things throughout the day just to get through the day. We have to eat, buy food, go to the bathroom, take showers, drive cars. I mean, it's unlimited. It's unlimited in terms of all the things that humans have to do. So you need to get active. Even if you're not sure what really makes you happy, start getting busy. That means practice, 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 practice. And that will make a big difference for you, a really big difference. Okay? Okay, thank you.
Hi, Marie. I just wanted to say thank you for taking our calls. I will say I have been watching your podcast on YouTube for a while now, and I know you cut out sugar and you look amazing. You can totally tell. Looks great on you. I am wondering, I have recently started my development journey for mediumship, and when we do these calls, when you're reading our energy, is it the energy at the time that we've left the voicemail, or is it energy that we currently have because there is a time lapse? And then the second part would be, do you see anything in terms of my energy or my body, since I have recently started doing mediumship? And then I have PCOS, and so I wasn't sure if there are any recommendations that you have. All right, thank you.
You're very welcome, Lauren. I wish people changed enough that by the time I read for them after they leave a voicemail, that things have shifted. But that's rarely the case. Rarely. I'm not kidding. I recently got an email. I won't mention the name, so hopefully the person won't be upset that I mentioned this. And this person saw me like 5 years ago, and this person had a serious health issue. And unfortunately, their physicians said, you don't have a lot of time. And when I read this person, I said, oh, I don't see a problem. I don't see you going anywhere. And the person didn't really believe me. I was a little annoyed by my lack of concern. That's how this person interpreted it. But this person's doing great, enjoying their life. So even though I know that's a weird example, but it took a while for that person to change their mind, to go, oh, well, maybe I am okay. Maybe I'm not going to succumb to whatever health issue the physicians said will take my life. So it takes humans a while to change, by the way. So if there has been a change, I will read it. So I'm reading the present moment, I would say. But unfortunately, most people don't change that much. And so it may feel like I'm reading the person when they left the voicemail, but they just haven't changed very much. It takes a lot to change. People have to stop listening to their brain. They have to, stop being vibrating in fear, stop having to analyzing and processing information. And that's the challenging part for humanity. Even for myself in my own life, I work at that every single day. There are certainly, times in my life, usually where a lot is going in a very positive direction. So there isn't a lot for me to overanalyze or process about. But when things come into my life that I don't like, then I get to work extra hard and not allow myself to analyze and process the information, because I'm not going to get the information I want anyway. It's not going to be useful or effective. It's not going to help me, and it's not going to help anyone else either. So just remember that, everyone, when you're letting go of analyzing and processing, because remember, the brain is not an emotional device. It's only logical. It's for hanging up those pictures. It's for baking cookies, making sure you got the oven at the right temperature and you put the right amount of sugar, and for putting the right gas in your car. It's not for anything else, only logical things. Okay, thank you.
Hi, Marie. My name is Susan, and I am from British Columbia. So my question is about my body pain. I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia and some osteoarthritis about 7 years ago, but I just have so much body pain, joints, bones,
Ouch.
muscles, just everything on a daily basis. And I'd really like to live without that pain. It seems to be getting worse every year. So I heard what you said about the serrapeptase.
Yeah.
I did buy some yesterday and I started taking it, and I'm hoping that helps.
Great.
Also, what you said about the root chakra and childhood stuff, I could definitely fit in that category for sure. I think in a strange way, the pain has kept me out of trouble in the sense that it's kept me grounded and close to home, but I don't want it anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm really trying to work on my intuition and develop it more, and create a daily practice around that. And anything you have to share would be greatly appreciated. And thank you so much, Marie. I just love your show.
Thank you so much, Susan. And I'm so sorry for the uncomfortable physical pain that you've had. I apologize, or I know it's not my fault, but I'm still letting you know how sorry I am that you're having that discomfort. I think it's great you're taking the serrapeptase, as long as there's no counterindicators, any pharmacology that you're taking that would not be in your best interest regarding that. I would also do the near infrared and red light therapy. That could help a lot. But fibromyalgia is really about repressed emotions. And you brought up childhood, and you're right. The root chakra governs all the bones in the body. So that means all the joints too. Fibromyalgia isn't about bones, though. That's more about muscles and fascia. But you're having both. You're having bone pain and joints and the fibromyalgia. I'm sure there's crossover in those two types of diagnoses. But I would spend time nurturing your younger children. Start with an infant of yourself, like you're holding in your mind your infant and loving her and cherishing her and feeding her and adoring her for a couple months. I would maybe skip every couple years and get your childhood or whatever you think was a significant area in your childhood. I would do some nurturing, give your babies what your family couldn't give you at that time. Give it to your babies now. That could really, truly help. And I don't think it kept you out of trouble necessarily, but I'm glad you're finding positive reasons for it, because that is a good sign of moving into healing. People who have healed horrific diseases in their body will say, once they're healed, how much they appreciated the experience. And that's a sign that they're healing too, that they have healed, because they start to value something that most people would never, ever logically even consider appreciating. So I like it. I think you're moving in an excellent direction. So repressed emotional pain, I think loving these inner children will bring up some emotions for you that you can then nurture yourself about and have a nice conversation as if you were talking to a child, like probably you have in this lifetime. So those are my thoughts. And I think you're going to get better. So try not to worry so much about all of it. Thank you.
Hi, Marie. This is Victoria from Florida. My question is regarding a current relationship I'm in. We've been dating for the past 3 months or so, which it's felt a lot longer in some ways. We have a very strong connection emotionally and physically. I'd say definitely one of the strongest in my life in a very long time. But it's just been a roller coaster since the start, and I'm just feeling exhausted and like I don't know. It's almost like I can't trust my gut anymore. I don't know, I'm not sure what to do. So I don't want to give up on this relationship, but I also don't want to lose myself, which is something I've done in the past. So anyways, just looking for some guidance on what you see is best for me. Thank you so much for your help.
You're welcome. Yeah, when someone uses the phrase roller coaster regarding anything, it's clearly not good for you. Not that we don't have roller coaster moments or slight blips, in different areas of our life, like work or school or, relationships of some sort, or something with our body or our wealth. We have little blips every once in a while, which are there, I think, to help us refine our energy system so that we can go back to high vibrational experiences. But a roller coaster is not a good analogy And when anyone talks about their energy feeling depleted for a period of time, that's a sign that you're not supposed to be a part of it. You get to do whatever you want, though. You can stay in this relationship as long as you want. No one has to follow anything that I say. Free will is the strongest law in the universe. But what I would recommend that you do is work on loving yourself. So how I feel about this relationship is that your partner is a little bit like a small tornado. That's how I feel. Almost like Linus, with the Snoopies. I'm sorry, I don't remember all the cartoons, but Linus had that cloud of dust around him. But yeah, I feel like your partner is a little bit of a tornado, and you are such a caring, loving, compassionate person. You're trying to fix their tornado all the time, and it's exhausting. It's wearing you out. Try to stop doing that. Stop trying to fix things. That's a really good way where we can see how relationships are going to go. When we have people who are kind of codependent, who people please, who overgive, and somehow, for some reason, they have an awakening of their self-worth, like what you're experiencing right now in your phone call, and I'm sure you were experiencing this before the phone call. This is an awakening of your self-worth. You're going, why is this so hard? Why am I so exhausted? Is it supposed to be this way? And the fact that you have some confusion about it tells me that your partner's probably doing a little bit of crazy making. I would read the book, The Verbally Abusive Relationship. I think in its 10th reprint. It's very popular. I don't remember the author's name, but I highly recommend it. I think it's a great book. And in the meantime that you're not over nurturing, stop paying attention to the tornado in the room and focus on yourself. Because when people lose themselves, it's because they over nurture. They think they've done something wrong, or I just have to love this person a little bit more. But no, what you'll find is you pull your energy away from people who are actually kind of taking advantage of your energy. You will feel energized. And that's when things get clear. That's where the clarity comes from. You go, oh, yeah, that's not good for me, or whatever comes to you. So in the meantime of learning that task, because it's kind of tricky, it goes against all the empathic, over nurturing, codependent patterns that people have when they go, but that person's in chaos. I have to help them. No, stop, focus on yourself, because that's where your energy needs to be, and love yourself in that process. Like, honey, I'm proud of you for detaching in that moment. And several things could happen. The tornado could get bigger. The tornado could start to ignore you, which could make you very uncomfortable. And I would just allow that to happen. It's nice to know how people respond when we pull back our energy. You actually get clarity about who that individual is, how they think and care about you, and what they can do for you. Because when you pull back your energy and they don't respond, or they push away, or they get more tornado-y, that's really good information. Like, wow, where is their empathy for me? Where is their compassion for me? Not anywhere close by. So this is just a wonderful, amazing time in your life. Look at it that way. You are learning how to care about you. And I promise you, it will be extremely rewarding. Thank you.
Hi, Marie. My name is Sue. I live in Washington State, not far from you. I'm retired and have been for several years. I'm absolutely loving it. I have so much joy in my life, and all around me. And I want to continue to contribute in some way to the healing people can experience spiritually and psychologically. I was a psychotherapist.
Thank you.
And I don't really know the direction to go. So if you can help me out with that, I would really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sue, for everything that you've done in the world and are doing and will continue to do. And I'm so glad you're happy. This is a really good sign. So as you're moving towards contributing, which, by the way, your joy is contributing to the human race. Your happiness is helping humans to establish where joy could be and how it could be found. And yeah, retirement, people get really busy. I didn't see clients or teach for the month of September. I did other things, work related, but not those things. And I couldn't tell you where the time's gone. Yeah, it's lots of fun, lots of play, lots of dog walking, lots of good stuff. So how about doing some teaching? No more psychotherapy. Nope. You did that probably 8 years longer than your body wanted you to do. Maybe teach some classes on spirituality and all these things that bring you great joy, energy, medicine, consciousness. Even start to just write out some outlines for a class. You could teach it online. You could do it in person. And if you decide to do one-on-one work with people, then I would call it coaching and work with people who have their own therapist. And I'm sure there will be some therapy, practices involved whenever we work with anyone. There is, some type of counseling occurring on some level, which is wonderful. But we don't want you to go back to utilizing those tools because they actually exhaust you. That's why you're having so much fun in your retirement. You had to sleep a while too, to gain your reserves, and you're having so much fun and you deserve it. And you are contributing by being authentically joyful. That is positively affecting the human race. Not enough people do that. And it's crucial. I hope that's helpful. And thank you for all you do in the world.
Hi, Marie. This is Kendall calling from Portland, Oregon. I am curious about the energetic relationship or origins, specifically of ectopic pregnancy. I think in a previous episode you talked about miscarriage. I haven't been able to find that episode, but I'll keep looking. Yeah, but last year I had a miscarriage and then an ectopic pregnancy. The miscarriage was actually quite smooth. It seems like my body just figured out that didn't have everything we needed for a successful pregnancy. And my body handled everything outside of any type of, medical support in less than 48 hours. I was emotionally a little tricky, but really wasn't so bad. And then I had a really sort of drawn out and painful physically and emotionally ectopic pregnancy around October into November of last year. So I'm just wondering energetically what that's about. I was in that time trying to conceive with an anonymous donor, like frozen sperm. And I don't know if that's actually ultimately going to be my path to parenthood at this point. Which is pretty consistent with something that you shared with me maybe 3 years ago now. So
interesting.
Energetically, what's up with ectopic pregnancy? And thank you for everything you do. It's always so great to listen to your episodes, all the questions, and just great to have your presence here in this dimension while I'm here too. All right. Big love to you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Kendall. I wish I could remember all of my previous sessions, but I just don't. But that's interesting. We already had that conversation a few years back. So it doesn't really matter if it's an ectopic pregnancy or the average type of miscarriage, which just means, something happened either to the ovum or the lining of the uterus wasn't healthy enough and the, embryo passed. In an ectopic pregnancy, we have, it's trapped in the fallopian tubes or the ovary. It's stuck. I'm pretty sure it's mostly the fallopian tubes. And that's why it's so painful. That's why that's painful. Whereas there's typically less pain. There can be pain in any miscarriage, but typically, especially early on, some people don't even know they're miscarrying when it's really early on. But all of it is related to repressed anger. So fertility issues and PMS issues, all of them, anything to do with reproductive organs, kidneys, adrenal glands, lower back and the appendix for women or beings who identify as female, it is about repressed anger. But infertility itself is typically about repressed anger about one's mother or the person who raised you that was like a mother for you, the motherly figure in your life, because maybe that person wasn't very motherly or something happened. That person could have even passed away. I'm not saying for you, Kendall, that happened, but I'm just putting out all the reasons why there could be issues. So fertility issues have to do with an unhealthy relationship with one's mother, however you want to dress that up or design it, but that's what it means. So I would talk to yourself about how you'll be different, because I believe generations should improve their parenting. Like everything should improve generationally. That's what we all want. We want our children to be healthier and happier and more successful, whatever that means to them. To me, success just means happiness. So if people are happy, then their life gets better and better and better. That's what I think. So you just need to talk to yourself about, well, I'm going to be different. Like there's some circumstances that happen in childhood that you can tell yourself will not be happening in your child's childhood. You can say that to yourself, to your fallopian tubes, to your ovaries, to your uterine wall. And maybe if you're going to use sperm, from someone else, maybe fresh next time, not frozen. I know that could be trickier. But maybe not frozen. And your body might like it better. Okay. Thank you so much.
Dear Marie, thank you for taking my call. My daughter Orion was born 22 years ago in Virginia. And already 5 months later, I was pregnant again. And I was actually very sad about it because I just wanted to enjoy the alone time with my daughter still. So it was a great surprise to me that when my son was born, when my daughter was 14 months old, I felt my heart connecting to him, and something happened to my connection with my daughter energetically. And I had no idea how to fix it, what to do, and I never even talked to anybody about it. I just did the best I could to take good care of both of them. But I could see that it had an effect on my daughter. And now that she's 22, she still has that longing for a good friend. And it just has never been satisfied. And she feels a loneliness that I think stems from that wound. So, what do you see is the healing remedy for her? Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Kristin. This is a lot of overthinking and analyzing that you've been doing for 22 years about this relationship with your daughter and your relationship with your son. Knock it off. Don't think about it anymore. Don't blame yourself. It's a very low frequency. Can you feel how your vibration is really low? It's victimization. Stop. You did a good job, probably a great job parenting your kids. Stop. It's almost like as if you're projecting your own self-conscious feelings or your own feelings of loneliness onto your daughter. So stop thinking about it, stop analyzing it, stop processing. In fact, begin telling yourself, what if I'm a really good mom? What if I did the very best I could, which you did? I want you to start appreciating yourself. Start thinking about you, not about her. Stop. She's 22. She's got to figure it out herself. She clearly has a very loving, devoted parent. That's wonderful. But if your energy keeps matching this victimization that she has either learned through her childhood frequency adjustments that she made connected to her parental group, it's not going to get better unless you stop and teach her a different frequency or just live in a different vibration. Forget about all this stuff. Stop thinking about things that happened 22 years ago or even 5 minutes ago. Stay present, raise your vibration, appreciate yourself. Think of how lucky your daughter is. She's a healthy young woman. What a fortunate creature she is. Only think positively about her. Stop your own victimization. It's wasting your energy and it isn't helping anyone. So those are my thoughts. I hope it's helpful.
Hi, Marie. My name is Irma. First, I want to thank you so much for this opportunity and the love and the light that you bring to this world. I will try to make this brief. I've always known that I'm intuitive. that I have some mediumship abilities.
Great.
But since childhood, I have basically spent my life blocking it. So this year, I know that this is a year that I am raising my vibration. I am loving myself. I
Yay.
am working on loving myself even more, following my joy, and just in doing so, embracing that intuition. I struggle with my rational mind, though. Like you, I'm a nurse, or actually I was a nurse. I've been away from bedside for a couple years. My current job is completely unfulfilling to me, but it's served a purpose. It's allowed me to stay home with my youngest child, my last child at home, which obviously is a wonderful thing. But at the same time, I'm very unfulfilled at my job, and I feel called back to nursing.
No.
But at the same time, I'm not certain that it's nursing that I'm called back to. I feel really drawn to healing, but I
Great.
feel drawn to energy work.
Great.
I feel people's energy. Especially my own children. That one's pretty easy, and helping them with energy. So I'm wondering if I could get your insight, maybe just on where you see me, or where you feel that I should go with work, and if it's nursing I'm called back to, or more to the energy side of healing.
Yeah.
And again, thank you so much for this opportunity. I think you're absolutely fabulous, and I wish I could be like you.
Good. Be
Thank
me.
you so much, Marie.
Be like me.
Have a blessed day.
You're welcome, Irma. And I love your name. I love how the older names are coming out. Marie's kind of an old name. And I can tell that it's really old now because I literally have to spell it to most of the baristas when I go get my chai and they ask me for a name. Hardly anyone says Marie. They say Mary. And I have spelled it for them too. Marie. So it's getting really old. That's an ancient name now. Okay. So you already know the answer. Your perfect, depiction of what I talked about at the beginning of this podcast, where people need to trust themselves. Not nursing. It's too much work for you. It's physically demanding now. It's not a good idea for you. Let the 20, 30 some year olds run all over the floors and pick up people. And, so not nursing. And you love energy medicine. You love mediumship, you said. All of these things. Go take some classes. Go start practicing. Get excited for it. Start believing that you can have a career path that is very fulfilling for you and joyful for you. That's all you have to do. You already know what you'd like to do. That's exciting. I'm very happy for you. Congratulations. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for listening today. And I wish you all many, many joyful blessings. Bye-bye.